Hi everybody, it's Carla from Casey Creates. I want to show you a few things I've been working on in clay. It's been a while since I made a video because I've been getting ready for the annual sale that we do each year. And so I have to kind of put my paper crafts and doily crafts aside for a little bit. And in my previous video I was showing you how I make my leaf dishes using sycamore leaves. And then this video, I thought maybe I would just show you what I've been creating out of clay. And one of the things I love to do is roll coils with clay. And I weave baskets. I can't really get the larger ones in frame, but I'll show you the smaller ones. And I usually start upside down on a mold. This one was done on a hump mold made out of plaster. Sometimes they're made out of bisqueware, and I do the actual woven pattern. Some of them I'll do a faux weave where it doesn't look like it's actually, where it looks woven but I didn't, but then these are actually truly woven. And then I put a few decorative clay pieces around the edge, but these have to still be fired. This is considered leather hard, meaning if I bent it, it would crack, and if I stuck it back in water, it would just melt back down into clay. I use these little wreaths, styrofoam wreaths, as a mold to make another line of pieces called sunflower dishes, and it's just a slab of clay that I roll out. I trace the slab around the ring, and then I slump it into the ring. And on this one, I don't know if you can tell, but I rolled bubble wrap into the surface of the clay. And the only tedious part with this is I do make each leaf individually. You will see forms similar to this on Pinterest, but they make the leaves using a heart cookie cutter, and it just kind of goes against the way I create by using cookie cutters. I like to cut things by hand, so I alter them. I might start with a cutter and then I'll alter the shape so that it's an original shape. And then once this is bisque fired, I'm going to put a really nice glaze in the center that kind of gets these earthy, rusty brown colors for the seed part. And then I'll do a nice golden chino on the petals. And I'll show you, and they lift out of these beautifully, so you can make several at a time. And I like any projects where I can make several at a time. And the only thing I have to do once I pop it out is really work on just gently smoothing so there's no sharp edges. So I like to always clean everything up as well as possible. And then I put a little ring on the bottom when it's leather hard for the foot. But on this piece, you really wouldn't even have to put a foot. It's up to you. But like I said, I'll just take a little time. I've got a few others that are dry and ready to be cleaned up, and I'll just sit with a damp sponge, or sometimes a paintbrush will do the job. And just gently wipe. Clean it up. And the last thing oh wait, here's another tiny basket. Did I show you this one? This one's fun. It's real little. And then the last thing, if I can get it in camera, I'm doing a workshop in a couple of weeks where everyone's going to make a gingerbread house. So this one's already been bisque fired, and I'll have to tip it a little bit, but it's a cookie jar, and I'm gonna guess this is about 10 inches tall. Anyway, the lid comes off. It's not glazed yet. I just have what's called iron oxide wash on it, and then that's the front. So I created it with a stencil, and then I just embellished it, and that was really fun because it's very similar to embellishing with paper or fabric, where I just rolled coils and had a lot of fun. I used a craft stick or a popsicle stick, which some people may call it. If you can, let me see if I can get it in the camera here. And when the clay was still soft, they just pressed, you know, to make it look like shingles. And then I have these molds that I use from the baking aisle at Joann's. Can you see these? Well, they make great embellishments. This is my favorite one. It's called Jewels, and they make like faux jewels, usually for fondant and cakes, but I use it for clay. And this one makes the beautiful small beading that you can maybe see here. Yeah. And then this one makes the larger beading, and this one is used to make the edges on pies, but of course I use mine for clay. I'm thinking about getting another one though for my kitchen, because I do love making fancy pie crusts, and they work really well. And if you've ever used these, you don't want to use clay that's too wet. As a matter of fact, I'll just show you real quick. See this coil? I rolled this a little bit ago. It's not really soggy or wet. You want to put it in a dry mold, and you don't need cornstarch or oil or anything. If you just don't overfill it, pack it in. Now if this clay were really sticky, I wouldn't be able to pack it in like this. I could, but I'd have to wait a long time before I could peel it out. And then you literally just bend and tap, and it falls right out. See? So a lot of times people have trouble getting these out of the mold, and I always say just don't overpack it. Some people will overpack it and then scrape it off, and that scraping action actually puts it in the mold even tighter. So again, this is the beaded one. It's dry. I didn't put anything in there, and I'm rolling my coil so that it's almost the same size of the mold. And now I did pack it in a little bit more than I packed in a little bit more than I want, so I'm just gonna scrape a little bit off. Oops, it's pulling apart. So I'm going to go back over it where it's a little too full and just kind of distribute that into the rest of the mold. But again, if this clay were really soggy soft, it wouldn't come out of the mold. But I'm pretty confident this is going to come out just fine. And again, the key is to just bend it. Bend, bend, bend. And flip it off. Just like that. And then we have another strand of beads. Just like that. And then if you need to, you can take a thin blade and trim around the edges if you get a little overhang. Like that. Lovely. So anyway, I just thought I'd do a little demo on how to use these molds, because if you can get them to work for you, they're really fun. So anyway, back to the gingerbread house. There's the front. And the roof has a chimney. Let me take the roof off and put it by the side. Then you can see it a little better. And I'm just going to take underglaze and white. I might not even make this really colorful. I might just do underglaze, white underglaze in a clear coat. Here's the side. These are kind of going to be like not gummies, gumdrops. I have little wood-like shutters and a candy cane decoration. And this is the back, a little window some spiral candy for shrubs. There's another side and a window. And what's fun with these is I've had the kids make them, and we cut a hole in the bottom and cut our windows out so that we can have like a tea light in there, and then they illuminate at night just like the fairy houses that I make. So there's the biscuit gingerbread house, and then I have to just decorate it and fire that again. And I created my own template, so I thought maybe I would cut one out. I have a slab of clay here. That's the wrong slab. I'll move my little beads. So I have this on a piece of parchment paper, and I may not be able to put this one together because my slab is pretty soft. This is earthen red clay, and it's got a red undertone, and so when we do our workshop, I'm going to be able to just leave the bare clay, and then we can spend more time embellishing it, and we won't have to worry about what am I trying to say? We won't have to worry about painting the background like I did on the other one with the iron oxide wash. So if you can see my template, it's a one-piece template, and all I have to do is cut out all of this, and then we use our circle cutters, which is this one, to cut the center out, and then all four walls fold up, and you score and slip them together. And this is an embossing tool with a thin ball tool on the top, and I like using this for cutting more than I like to use my needle tool. But I just created this template by fiddling around with a cross pattern, because it's going to be with children that are younger, and it's a workshop where we don't have a whole lot of time. So I'm just pushing with the embossing tool, making the dotted lines so that I can see where to fold on the other side. And I'm going to do the same thing on the circle here. So when I lift this off, I'll know where to cut. Like so. And you may not be able, yeah, I think you can see that circle. I like to work on parchment paper when I can, because if I have to cover it with plastic and use it later, it won't dry it out, but it won't be still so horribly soggy that I have to wait. And this is probably too soon to try and show you this, but I'm still going to try. So you just fold it up to each line. Oh, my scissors are falling here. Let's get this a little closer. And then what you would do is you would just attach them on all four sides. And I can tell this is, of course you can tell too, it's way too soft to do that right now. But I did want to give you an idea of how you can do a house with just one pattern. And then I have a roof, and what will happen is you'll take, let's see, where's my roof? have a roof pattern here somewhere. Here it is. Okay, so I'll show you with the pattern. And I just used a 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper, but it fits this way. And then I have a rectangle that I would cut out of clay, and it fits this way. And you score and slip it on, and you have your basic house that you can just have a lot of fun embellishing. So that's not a very good example right now, but when this firms up, I'll go ahead and do another video and show how you score and slip it together and just get the basic house form. But that's all I wanted to show you for now. It was just what I've been working on in the way of clay, to say hello and have a reason to visit with you for a little bit. And I'll come back and show you some more of what materialized out of my clay creations. And I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit with the clay. I know it's different than most of my videos. I started out doing clay and have just grown such a passion for paper and fabric. I do have a swap video I'm going to put up in a couple days, so I will show you my latest journal that I really am going to miss when it's time to send it off. But that's why I'm going to do a video, so I can have it for just my history of journal making. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I appreciate your comments, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.